not
We could
Chantel,
listen to your
Candice.
stories. We could listen to your stories all day long. But welcome to the UnLearn show.
Thank
We're
you.
extremely
Thank you so
excited to
much.
have you here, where we talk about breaking bad habits with a purpose. So
Yeah.
we'd love to start off and ask our guests, tell us one thing about you that our audience maybe doesn't know or they should know about you.
I am a Brazilian. So I'm born in Brazil. I found a digital magazine when people told me that wouldn't happen because it's like nobody cares about magazine anymore. And we were very, very successful. And I am a proud mom of a 25 years old son. And I have a beautiful husband.
Love it. So, with your success in combating those biases, right, and people telling you not to do it, what's one thing that you had to unlearn to get to where you are, to get the success of that and the momentum of the e-magazine ready and moving?
It was definitely not to be perfect, you know. So I had to fight really hard against myself because I'm an ex-ballerina, so my life was around being perfect. So when I had to retire when I was 30 years old, I had to, I keep doing everything perfect, So nowadays I'm doing much more things that before maybe I couldn't do it. I couldn't see myself doing it just because I'm allowing myself not to be perfect. I do my best 100%, but I do not keep, like putting obstacles of it's not perfect. The light is not good. The mic is not good enough. Or I do not have the best software in the world. I'm just doing it. So definitely it's not to be perfect.
How do you fight that voice in your head, Candice? Because I have always been a perfectionist and it has stopped me from doing so many things, from shipping so many times when I should have just shipped. Like, how do you fight that?
I'm always, it's like a bully, So when I hear this horrible noise in my head telling me you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you have a funny accent, you have a funny voice, I just say shut up, literally. Like, it sounds horrible, but it's working, So in the very beginning, I had to be really mean with this voice, because the voice was mean with me. So it was like holding me back so much. And now and then I started like saying, just shut up, stop listening. So nowadays, I think the voice that voice understands. So we have this funny relationship. And then nowadays I can be a little bit sweet and say, can you just shut up? Because I'm gonna do it anyway.
Was there like a breaking point where this kind of came to a head, where it really stopped you from doing something that you wanted to do and you were like, okay, that's it, I'm done?
That's enough. Yeah, in September 2016, I woke up one day and I lost my balance. So I ended up in a hospital, and they find out and they told me that I lost my balance because I damaged the inner ear. So after 2 months, I diagnosed with Meniere's syndrome. That is a lack of balance, which gives me dizziness, nausea every single day. Cannot, like I have brain fog, I'm losing my hearing on my sight. So, and there is no pills, there is no medicine, there is no surgery that's going to fix me. And then I was really, really scared because I'm a workaholic and I love working, you know. And the doctor said to me to retire. So I was like, okay, I have to find something. And that I love to do it, like meeting people, talking with people, asking questions about their journey, being supportive as well, because I'm a massive cheerleader, like about like you can do it, So, in the idea for the magazine came because I could do from home. If I had to retire, so if I have to stay at home, at least I can do it with my skills. And so the first year of the magazine was my own investment because was this crazy idea that I wanted to really give it a go. And so for me was when I was really scary about my health and if how I would be, what I would continue working. That's something that I really love to do. It sounds funny, sounds crazy, but yes, I love working.
Candice, do you think it takes something like that to move certain people? Like it just takes a big health scare or something? Or is that something that you feel like that you can help impart on somebody or help them get to without some, because you hear those stories a lot, right? Where people are like, oh my gosh, I almost died. I'm going to do what I love now. But is it
Yeah.
possible to get there without something like that?
I do think so. If you have like I'm very stubborn, so for me it has to be a health care. So I had to have this horrible, yeah. So I burned out twice before, and even burning out didn't like wake me up for not being like not working like 12 hours per day, 7 days per week, just because I love it. I have to have time for my family. I have to have time for my dog and do things that I love to do. And that's not working. So for me was that. So when the doctor said to me, so because when I lost the balance, I have to learn how to walk. For a year, I have to do physiotherapy for balance disorder. So you have to learn how to work it or to walk again, and you need to do you have to work your brain to understand, because everything is overwhelming when you damage your inner ear that is connected with your brain, with your eyes, and with your ears as well. So affects you in so many different ways. So for me was that, but I do believe that people can change their lives or find the better ways of finding balance between family and work or whatever it is. I think if you have a very group people supporting you, I think this is massive. And when I say that, it's not just family, because my biggest support from my friends, like a part of my husband and my son. Like for example, if I have to say like brothers, sisters, and I live in England and I don't have family here, so I do not have this kind of support. So if I do not have my friends, my business friends, I do not have that support. And of course, with the magazine, the online support is amazing. It's massive. I have been, I have friends that became friends because of the magazine, because the mission and the support that we do, because we are really literally changing lives, with encouraging women's and with our guests. They make them the role models for the other girls and ladies. We are not just impacting the young generation. But I think it's down to mindset and a support, a group of people that understand who you are and believe in yourself.
So Candice, you literally lost your balance when you talk about work-life balance. I mean, you literally
Yes.
lost it.
Yes.
Here on the UnLearn show, and you mentioned this already, we like to talk about those bad habits or things that how you've overcome something. You mentioned the word fear. So you've overcome a fear of yours, which is a major health issue. What is your fear now? What is the fear that you face daily today? And what are you doing to overcome that?
In my professional life, my biggest fear now is that I cannot keep growing the community, like right now, especially financially, I have to find a way to become a business, because I cannot, but as I said before, in the first year, I finance myself. I invest my own money, my time, everything. So from this year, I created a business model where we are working with Patreon, where we are starting tiers of people, like levels of people that can help us growing and continue doing what we do. So the lowest level is $2.50 per month, so it's less than a cup of coffee, and will help us to keep going. So my biggest fear is that I cannot keep doing this for the rest of my life, because it's not just because I love what I do, because I do love, I do love asking, connecting, supporting, encouraging, but I know the positive impact that is happening every month that we have the magazine out. So if you the formal presentation of the magazine is the screenshots of what happens when the magazine is out. So all of the comments, all of the love, the positive vibes between the guests, with the readers and the community. So that love, I wanted to keep forever, because this is the way you nurture it and you make people flourish as well. So this is my biggest fear. I needed to keep doing this for the rest of my life. And in my personal life is I need to find a better way to keep health. So, it was a big scare. So I don't want to have another one.
So do you have ways that you work through fear? Do you have certain processes that you go through, or certain things that you rely on for that?
Yeah. This is since I was a kid, because I was as a dancer, I was on stage a lot of time. So and then especially when you're a teenager, you keep asking, doubting yourself all the time, and then it's a big fear, be on stage. And I am an introvert, so it was worse. So I always have the butterflies, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna fail in front of everybody. Yeah. So what happened is, I started since I was a teenager, working through meditation. So I do meditation with mantra and breathing. So, and then my mindset as well, because as a ballerina, I just learned how to be resilient and keep going, like, so for example, when I learned to do, I don't know, 3 pirouettes, I wanted to do 4. And then when I learned 4, I went up 5. So I keep pushing. So I brought the same mindset to anything in my life. I've moved country 4 times already. So we have to start over and every single time, so in personal life or my professional life, I fear a lot of things, and I just try to say I'm gonna do my best. So this is the best that I can do. So, and of course, with the breathing, oxygenate my brain. You help me with when you work through your breathing, you keep your heart beating, you slow down, so you bring yourself back. So, and then the fear became a challenge. So I see fears as a challenge. So, and then when I challenge myself, I have I have a hashtag that I say warrior mindset. So, and then I have these warriors, like I love Vikings because they are these warriors. And then Vikings, they also have the women on battles. So you can read or watch movies or whatever about how the Vikings, they also have women on the battles. So I always try to feel myself as a Viking, in a battle in the middle of this war. And then I don't know, just saying that to you, I'm just like, wow, good, let's do it. So yeah, I have this energy. Yeah, but this is the mindset working. I have been doing this. I'm 46 years old, so I've been doing this for maybe 35 years now.
I love your energy and your ambition and your hunger to just keep going. And with an illness, like just a condition that you have to keep in the back of your mind all the time, along with perfection and how you're unlearning that. You're unlearning the fact that perfection isn't possible most of the time, but also keeping that competitive mindset. How do you find that balance with self-care?
With the mindset, I always have bad days and good days. I think like when we talk about mental health, you never have this steady line in your life. So I suffer from anxiety. So, it's a constant battle. Some days I'm better, some days I'm not 100%. But the days that I'm not very good, if I want to cry a little bit, I just cry a little bit, and then I just say, yeah, that's okay. Let's have some chocolate ice cream, and then you're gonna be ready again. So I try to find little things that makes me happy. With my health, it's about, for example, I cannot wear high heels because I feel motion sickness with high heels. So I have to, think about it. And I'm crazy about high heels. So nowadays, when I go to London for business, when I'm in a business situation, I always walk around with flats. But when I'm in the moment, I just change my shoes. you know Another thing, I'm very honest with my illness. So everybody that knows me knows about what I'm going through, what I have to live with. So I'm not shy about it. I just, like if I have a new client, if they decided to work with me, and I know that is going to be like a relationship with the company, this is one other thing I bring up as well. I explain to them what I went through. I explain the way I have to live. I talk about what kind of medicines I take every single day. I tell them if something happened, how they have to react. Because, for example, I have clusters migraine. So with the clusters migraine, you feel like in my case, I feel the right side of my face melting. So sometimes it's so bad that I have to lay down on the floor, so never happened. But if I have to lay down on the floor and I am in a supermarket, I will do it. So my husband now, he's super cute. Oh my goodness, I just love him. And he says he wants to do a bracelet for me, explain people. So if something happened and I have to go to, lay on the floor, at least people know that I'm not like drunk or something. At least people know that I'm like not okay with my health, and they have to help me. I think being honest is the best.
I was curious about your meditation practice because I know that is something that a lot of people try to get into and they can't overcome their mind. They can't sit in it long enough. So kind of what does that look like for you? And maybe it will be helpful for some other
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah, my brain doesn't stop. So for me, when I was like 16, 17, that someone said to me, you have to try meditation. I was like, of course it's not going to work. I'm going to shut up my brain. And then a mentor, so I've tried a couple of times because really, so the kind of mantra that I do works with my breathing as well. And so you have to think about your breathing and open your brain and your mind to just relax in a way that is going to be quiet. So I try a couple of times and I was like, no, it's not for me. I'm gonna just stop doing it. I'm gonna stop trying. And then he taught me a technique that changed my life. That is, you need a clock with the not an automatic clock, so a normal clock, so the old-fashioned clock, or maybe nowadays with your phone you can see, because you need to see the seconds passing. So what happened is you sit very comfortable in a place that you are comfortable with. Comfortable, so be comfortable wherever you are. No music, nothing. And you have the watch in front of you, the clock or the phone or the watch in front of you. And with that, you just look at the clock ticking or passing the seconds. So with that, your brain is busy, so because your brain is focused and concentrate on the clock moving. So you try a couple of times. In my case, I try a couple of times, and after, I don't know, 3 months, I did not need the clock anymore. So works for me. And then what happened, second stage for me was understanding how to create a sync with my breath. So when the clock started working, I have, like, for example, in my case, I do 8 seconds on breathing in and 8 seconds of breathing out, and works for me. So I have been nowadays I do it without even thinking. Sometimes I'm like, for example, with the mini Aries, I have waves of nausea, and sometimes hit me when I'm like in the tube or walking, you know, in the middle of London. So, and then I have to breathe. So I use the meditation again. So I just stop in a quiet place where people are not going to bump on me, and I just stop my brain and breathe. So it's a good technique. So maybe you can try, because it's for busy, busy, busy heads.
Well, Candice, on behalf of all the co-hosts and the UnLearn show, thank you so much for giving up some time this weekend. And we know you're at VidCon, so we hope you enjoy the rest of VidCon in London and love to hear about it. Thank you again, and we wish you all the best. Have a fun time at the conference.